In this video, we're talking retirement anxiety. There are a lot of people out there that are getting ready to retire or in retirement. They don't have enough income. They need to know, they need to learn how to make income in retirement. In this video, we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing it today. Hang around. This is going to be a good one. Let me show you my eyes. Hey, welcome back, everyone. It is time for another red hot covered call video. Hey, look, that's what we're talking about. Retirement anxiety. I get a lot of emails asking me how I generate money in retirement. Well, as you know, I'm not in retirement, but a lot of people think I am. The reason for that is I always talk about using the selling premium strategy in retirement. See, if you've been watching my channel, you know that 3 years ago, I started this as an experiment in retirement. Could I use the selling premium strategy, this very conservative strategy, to generate real income in retirement? And that's what I've done over the past 3 years. And I'll tell you what, this year, it's going even better. Here we are, September. I'm already above 40,000. In fact, that number's not even right. I made a trade this week, getting a little bit closer to my goal of $55,000 this year. And that's $55,000 of using the selling premium strategy. I write covered calls against the shares that I own. I use cash to sell cash secured puts. I'll tell you what, it's very profitable, and I'm going to show you a trade today in retirement you can do. Now look, before we get going, I understand there's a lot of people out there that are fearful of the stock market. So I really want you to sit back, listen to this video. Maybe you watch this video a couple times. Part of what I do here at the channel is I try to motivate and inspire people through what I do. I show people my world through my eyes, just to get you a little bit closer. See, the stock market is confusing enough, right? And trading options can be even more confusing. So what I try to do is I try to bring it to you straight talk style. We bring it down to a level where it's super easy to understand. That's why I encourage everybody that likes what they're hearing. What I want you to do, subscribe to my channel. It's right there and it's free. And if you like this video today, bang that like button because it lets me know you like what I'm doing. And what we're doing is this. We're doing videos every single week trying to up our game. Whether you are a new stock market trader, new covered call trader, or you're a salty dog covered call trader, I'll tell you what, I talk to everybody with all kinds of experience levels. Look, you can do this because 3 years ago, I was as green as pretty much anyone. So if I can do it, trust me, you can do it too. Now look, let's go ahead and get to this because I know a lot of you out there, you're 45, maybe you're 50, 51 like me. Man, the retirement clock's ticking. And heck, some of you are already in retirement and you have some money, right? You have a little bit of 401k, but it wasn't generating enough income, right? You were probably invested in this great 401k and now you're responsible for generating income. Well, we're going to talk about that and I have that great trade for you. Let's get to it. Now, I know a lot of you are not excited about the stock market. In fact, you're scared of the stock market. I hear this all the time. I talk to people about what I do and the money I generate, and most every single time that person will say, "Oh, I'm afraid of the stock market." Let me tell you a quick story of how I convinced a guy to get involved in the stock market. So I'm working with this guy, and he is an expert at what he does. He is an absolute expert. In fact, every single time I have a problem, he's the first person I lean on. I mean, when I say he has experience, he has knowledge, he knows what he's doing. That's not an understatement. He is absolutely lights out at what he does. Now, he tells me he wants to get into the stock market. He wants to write covered calls just like I'm doing, generating that extra income. But he says to me that he is clueless and he just doesn't know how he's going to get there. He doesn't know how he's going to go from being afraid of the stock market to being at a point where he can generate real income in retirement with this strategy. Well, I said to him, you have to look at it like anything. You are an expert at what you do here at work, but it took you time to get there. And you tried some things, it didn't work out. You tried other things and it worked tremendously. Through your experience, your training, doing your homework, you get to a point where it becomes comfortable and you become knowledgeable and you become good at it. And I told him, look, that's how you get through this anxiety or fear of the stock market. You do your homework, you watch the free videos on YouTube. Maybe you open up that small ball account and do that small first trade. And when he looked at it that way, he got it. He remembered when he started out to where he's at now, how that learning curve just went up. But it took time, it took experience, and he had to get comfortable with it. So as I'm about to show you this trade and talk about how you can generate real income in retirement, I'm talking real spendable money, I want you to understand, you're a little worried now. You're totally confused, but you're interested, you're motivated. Who is this crazy guy on the internet talking covered calls? Well, look, that's part of it. That's part of it. You have to be motivated. You have to be inspired. You have to have interest in it, because if you don't, then you'll never get from point A to point B. See, when we're at work, we want to earn the paycheck, and we have expectations from our management, our supervisor. So we just get there because that's where we have to be. Well, in this game, you don't have that supervisor or manager hanging over you with expectations. See, it's you. You have to have that passion, that interest. That's why I'm here. And that's why I want to motivate you to stick with me. Now, I'm going to show you the trade right now. And here's the deal. This is a 3-part series. This is part 1 of a 3-part series. My daughter told me, look, there are so many people out there that need their hand held. So come up with a series. That's what I'm going to do. This is part 1. Now, right about now, I may have lost you. So maybe pause the video, go get some coffee, come back. I want you to be engaged. That's the important thing here. Be engaged, because when you're engaged, you can get excited and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, it doesn't take much Googling to find out that 48% of older households don't have enough money in the stock market. And to be honest with you, when you write covered calls and sell cash secure puts, you do have to have some cash, right? They'll tell you that it's capital intensive. Now, what does that mean? Well, you have to go out and buy at least 100 shares of stock. So I'm going to show you an example of a $171 stock. That means you have to have $17,100 to own 100 shares of stock. This can be capital intensive. And I get that. I think for many of you, you fall into this category where you have been putting into your 401k for the past 30 years, right? And you actually think your 401k is an investment. Well, actually, the 401k is just an account that is tax deferred. It's the investments inside the account. It's the investment inside the account that is actually your wealth. Now, most people, when selecting the investments they want in their 401k, well, they're clueless, so they don't really know. So the companies that manage their 401k really minimize the opportunities for investments. So usually what they'll do is they'll put in a S&P 500 index, which tracks the movement of the S&P 500. And a lot of times their wealth is tied to where the stock market goes, right? The S&P 500 is considered the stock market. Well, on good years, you're feeling good, right? When the S&P 500 is up like it has been over the past 10, 15 years, you're feeling good, you're feeling wealthy. Well, what happens when the stock market falls? You're not feeling so good, because your investments in a 401k generally are tied to indexes, and indexes are usually tied to the overall stock market. Well, now you're getting ready for retirement, and guess what? They're going to hand off your 401k, your company managed 401k, they're going to hand it off to you. Now, with some companies, you might be able to have the company continue to manage your 401k. But here's the deal. Over the time you've been putting in your 401k, you probably have not been collecting dividends. Those quarterly dividends that companies hand out to their investors when they have profits. You're not getting that dividend income that a lot of dividend income seekers seek, right? You're not getting it. So you're going to have to figure this out. Now, most people will go to a wealth manager, and that wealth manager will craft a portfolio for which you can generate that income in retirement. You see them all the time on TV where those guys are talking to clients in a very super casual environment, talking about what the client wants in retirement. So they craft a portfolio that meets that expectation. Now, with that said, they're going to charge a boatload of money for that. And you might be sitting there saying, I can do it myself. Well, you're going to have to learn how to do that through diversification, through investing in things that are going to bring you that weekly and monthly income, whether it be bonds, whether it be closed-end funds, stocks that pay 3 and 4%, or selling premium on the shares that you own. And that's what I do. See, I have a portfolio that does all the other stuff, but it's this selling premium, writing covered call strategies that has supercharged my portfolio income generation. I'm going to show you right now how I do that with $17,100 on a stock for which pays a fat dividend, and I could generate 3.5% in 30 days. You know, a lot of times people will tell you that you want to try to make 4%, 5% in a year. And if you want to beat the stock market, you need to make 8%, because historically the stock market has gained 8% every year. And that doesn't mean it goes up 8% every year. Hell, it was down last year and it's up 20% this year. But historically, you'll want to beat the stock market with all your investments, which traditionally is 8%. Well, in this trade, I'm going to show you how if my shares are taken away, I'm going to make 3.5% cash on cash for 30 days. This is a strategy for which you can do this every single month on great, very conservative dividend paying stocks. So let's go ahead and take a look at that trade. I know a lot of you that have been a part of my channel, you know exactly who I'm talking about right here. I'm talking 3M. See, I've chiseled off some of my portfolio. I don't use my entire portfolio for this strategy. What I've done is I've chiseled off some money, and that money is going to buy stocks and ETFs for which I will give somebody the right to take them away from me at a higher price. And I give them a time frame. Yes, I give them a deadline, and then they pay me a per share premium. Now, for some of you, that may seem too good to be true, right? I buy a stock, I immediately sell somebody the right, but not the obligation to take my shares away from me at a price I pick for a time frame I pick. They're going to pay me a premium right there. So in this case with 3M, see, I've done my homework. I've done all the things that I've needed to do to get to this point. Now, again, it doesn't take much. I've noticed that 3M has been having some rough times lately. 3M is one of the biggest companies on the planet. They have products in your grocery stores everywhere, and right now they're feeling the heat from the China trade war. So right now, they're not doing so hot. But does that mean that 3M is a bad investment? Well, if you bought it at $250 and it's now trading at $171, it is bad, right? But the idea here is we're going to do our homework, we're going to do our due diligence, and we're going to find those spots where we could buy great companies like 3M, and then hopefully we get that stock to move higher, right? We hope it goes higher. Look, there's 8,000 plus stocks in the stock market. So 3M is just one of 8,000 plus. So in this case, I'm going to use 3M, and this is what I did. When 3M was trading at around 167x, I thought this is a great opportunity to buy 100 shares. And that's what I did. It was trading at 167x, so I paid $16,700 and bought 100 shares. Well, at that point, I immediately wrote a 30-day covered call, meaning I went in, I gave somebody the right but not the obligation to buy my shares for me at 170. I gave them 30 days to make that decision, right? I gave them 30 days to decide if they're going to take my shares away from me at 170. And they paid me $3.15 per share for me giving them the right to take away my shares, the shares that I own at $167 at $170, an actual higher price. Who would do that, right? Okay, you'll learn why they do that. You don't need to know that right now. You just need to know that you can buy a stock at a price. You can then give somebody the right to take your shares away from you at a price you pick for a time frame you pick. Because see, in this case, I picked 30 days. I could have picked 1 week, 30 days, 3 months, 2 years. And of course, the per share premium I get paid is going to vary because it's all about time. Giving that person time to make the decision that they want to take my shares away at 170. So in this case, that's exactly what I did. I bought it at 167. I gave them the right to take my shares away from me at 170, and I gave them 30 days to make that decision. Now, they paid me upfront in cash $315. See how that works? I had 100 shares. They paid me $3.15 per share. That's $315 in my hands right now. Now, for the most part, I have to wait 30 days to see if this person is going to buy my shares from me at 170. Yes, if they take my shares away from me, they're not paying me 167, they're paying me 170. So not only do I make the $3.15 up front in my pocket, they're going to pay me 170 a share, the shares that I paid 167 for. So that's another $3. So I made a total of $6.15 per share for my shares. When you look at that on a cash on cash basis for 30 days, right? Because this trade is effectively going to end in 30 days. My shares would be taken away, right? So the trade ends. That's going to be a 3.5% cash on cash 30-day trade. Now, that $6.15 is spendable money. I'm going to spend that money as if I earned that money in retirement. And remember, I got the 170? Well, take out the $3 I gained, and I'm back with the $16,700. And we do this on another stock. Now look, this is part one. This is the primer. This is to get you interested. I want you salivating for the idea that yes, we have anxiety in retirement. We are worried about how we can generate income in retirement. Because hey, look, for a lot of us, we may retire and we may not be able to get another job, whether because of health reasons, skill level. At the end of the day, we need to have a way to make income in retirement. And if you're sitting on a 401k that you can actually generate income in retirement, look, most people have about $300,000 in a 401k. If you look at the national averages of making 4% in income, that's $12,000 you can generate on a very conservative way annually. Is $12,000 on your 401k enough to live on? Live the life you're living now? Look, if it's not, I want you to stay with me. I want you to come back for part two, subscribe to the channel. This is what we talk about here every single week. Now, I talk about a lot of other things, but once you get it, once you understand it, you're starting to get better and you're getting close to it. You're getting comfortable and you're going to start believing you too can do this. Now, look, here's my numbers. In 3 years, I've generated $150,000. Those are not fluffed up numbers. I've been showing everybody on my channel how I do this every single week. I tell you what, man, I don't fill you up with pipe dreams and I am not selling you anything. At the end of the day, we are learning a skill. We are using that skill in retirement to generate real life-changing money. It's right there. And I'll tell you what, my original goal was to make $1,200 a month. Now look where I'm at. Look, if the year ended for me right now, I will have made $3,400 on average per month for this year. I'll tell you what, that is real life-changing money. Now, look, I could keep going. You know, this is my passion. I am motivated. I'm inspired. I'll tell you, at the end of the day, it's easy for me. But for you out there, it might be harder. You don't care about the stock market. You never had interest in it. Your eyes roll. You don't want to hear it. But if you're going to do this, you got to learn it. You really do have to pull your bootstraps up and you have to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to have the money in retirement. You're going to shuffle off your 401k to somebody else. They're going to charge hella money to manage your portfolio. And to be honest with you, you don't feel empowered, right? Hey, look, even if you're not going to do this to handle your own 401k, your own retirement money, learn it. Learn it so you know what they're going to do. Learn it so when they call you up and talk to you monthly about what your portfolio is doing and how it's generating income, you know what they're talking about. What I'm telling you is this. I want you to learn this because I want you to get closer with it. And I want you to just understand how your money is being managed. And hey, if you get to a point where you can manage your own money, I'm telling you, you're going to be like that guy at work. You went from point A, being very inexperienced, to point B, where you are the most experienced and talented player. Look, you can do it. I'm telling you, I'm pulling for you. Hey, look, as always, I wish you all the best in trading. I want you to bang that like button if you like what you heard today. And hey, until next time, may all your covered calls be profitable.